The United States has 11 aircraft carriers, but it has a 12th aircraft carrier, an unsinkable one. It is here permanently in the Indian Ocean, and it's a powerful instrument of projecting US power. It is the island of Diego Garcia. Over 1,700 kilometers southwest of India, it's one of only 2 US bomber bases in the Indo-Pacific after Guam. Diego Garcia is the largest of the islands in the Chagos Archipelago. The island is around 30 square kilometers. It's the size of all of India's Lakshadweep islands put together. Now in May 2025, the UK transferred sovereignty of the islands back to the Mauritius. It retained Diego Garcia, which it leased from the Mauritius for 99 years for a payment of £100 million per year. In January this year, President Trump opposed the transfer of the islands to Mauritius. Trump called it an act of great stupidity. But in a flip-flop a week later, Trump backed the deal, calling it the best deal the UK could make. But he also warned that the US would forcibly take over the base if the lease deal ever fell apart in the future. Why is Diego Garcia so key to the United States? First, some history. The Chagos Archipelago was discovered by the Portuguese in the 16th century. It was later taken over by Great Britain after it defeated Napoleon in the 19th century. In November 1965, the UK detached the Chagos Archipelago from Mauritius. A very controversial decision remains till date. It ensured what is called the new British Indian Ocean Territory, as it called this. Diego Garcia remained with the UK 3 years before granting Mauritius independence in 1968. Now, all civilians on this BIOT, British Indian Ocean Territory, were ejected illegally, as it was ruled recently. A joint UK-US military facility known as the Naval Support Facility Diego Garcia was set up. It's a critical strategic hub for power projection across the Indian Ocean, the Middle East, Africa, and the Indo-Pacific region. The US has built 2 parallel runways on the base. They are 3.6 kilometers long, each runway. And these runways are capable of handling heavy bombers like the B-2 Spirit, the B-52 Stratofortress, and the B-1B Lancer, seen here. It can also handle fighter jets like the F-15, Strike Eagles, KC-135, Stratotankers, C-17, C-130 transport aircraft, and P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft. Now, none of these aircraft, of course, are permanently based on this island. They're staged through or rotated on deployments as and when the need arises. Now, at the center of Diego Garcia Island is a deep water lagoon and a port that's dredged for berthing aircraft carriers, missile destroyers, nuclear powered submarines, and other large vessels. In that sense, it's almost a perfectly designed military base, a natural one at that, which can support air, naval, and subsurface operations. Now, the US has pre-positioned stocks of missiles and equipment on the base. For instance, the Ohio-class SSGNs, nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines that fire Tomahawk missiles, can dock here for reloading their Tomahawk missiles. There's also talk, of course, that Diego Garcia also hosts nuclear weapons. That's never been confirmed though. But the base has advanced satellite tracking, real-time surveillance, and space observation capabilities. Over 2,000 US military personnel are based here. No civilians live on this island. And this base also has logistics hubs, fuel, ammunition storage, maintenance hangars, including, very interestingly, climate-controlled hangars for stealth aircraft like the B-2s. Now, the biggest advantage of this base is that it enables the US to project power across the region by enabling what are called deep strike missions. Missions that last thousands of kilometers across the region. It does not have to rely on regional allies for hosting their bases for US aircraft. Now, in 2001 and 2003, the US launched strikes targeting Afghanistan and Iraq from this base. And in 2025, it struck at Yemen from here. Now, with China challenging US dominance in the Indo-Pacific, Diego Garcia will continue to remain a key US strategic outpost, and an extremely controversial one at that.